I've been building out my personal dividend growth portfolio for quite some time now, and my portfolio value is now sitting at over $215,000, and I have 29 total holdings in my portfolio. And if we look at my dividend dashboard, we can see on average, I'm now being paid about $527 every single month in dividend income. And whenever I break down my personal portfolio, one of the most frequent questions I get, especially from beginners, is where can I even start looking for dividend stocks that would fall in line with my personal investment goals? And that's a great question. It's important as investors that we understand the stocks that are within our investable universe. For example, the investable universe is going to look far different for a 25-year-old who has a long-term time horizon versus maybe a 65-year-old who's looking to maximize their dividend income in retirement. And a lot of the times, these groups of people don't even know what their options are. Now, if you're someone like me who actually works in investments, you're going to look at hundreds to even 1,000 different stocks every single month. So you're going to have a pretty good feel for what the options are out there. But if you're managing your portfolio on a part-time basis, it's very likely that you're missing out on quality stocks simply from not knowing about them. So in this video, we're going to be talking about how you can use Seeking Alpha to screen for stocks within your investable universe. And before we jump in, I actually want to mention Seeking Alpha is getting ready to host their dividend investing forum on March 5th at 12 o'clock p.m. through 3 o'clock p.m. Eastern Time, where they're going to be hosting multiple different analysts to discuss dividend investing. I'm also really excited to say that they've given me about 20 to 30 minutes of this time to talk about the power of dividend growth investing, so I hope you'll join me over there on March 5th. There's a link down in the description to sign up if you're a Seeking Alpha member. And if you're not a Seeking Alpha member, I suggest you start a free trial so you can get access to this event. Now let's go ahead and actually jump over to the Seeking Alpha software, and we're on the home screen here. And what we want to do to start finding stocks in our investable universe is if we come down right here, you can see we have a few options: top stocks, top ETFs. But what we really want to focus on is not even the ETF screener, but it's going to be the stock screener in this situation. So if we click here, right away you can actually see there's a few stock screeners that I've already saved to my Seeking Alpha profile. I have a stock screener to find stocks at a 52-week low, a high yield stock screener, and then also a Peter Lynch criteria stock screener. And we can touch on these later, but if we scroll down, we can also see Seeking Alpha has some pre-built stock screeners. So for example, we can see some of the top quant dividend stocks. And if you aren't familiar with the quant, it's basically Seeking Alpha's rating system. And out of all the softwares out there, I have to say their rating system is probably one of the better ones. If we scroll down, we can see they have high dividend yield stocks. Scroll down even further, top value stocks, and then it even breaks down stocks by sector. So this is a really good place to start for a lot of people. You can find a lot of stocks that are potentially in your investable universe. But we have to remember, investing is going to be a case-by-case basis. So what's a good dividend stock for me, or just a stock in general, may not be a good stock for you depending on your goals. It's all about time horizon, your goals, your risk tolerance. So what we want to do is we're going to create a new stock screener. And this is actually pretty straightforward. So let's go ahead and click right here on advanced filters and remove all of the stuff that they have here already. So we're getting a completely fresh start. And let's say that I'm someone who's looking to buy high quality dividend growth stocks that are growing their free cash flow, in turn allowing them to grow their dividend payments every single year. And we'll say that in order for a stock to earn the right to be in my portfolio, there's going to be a few different criteria that it has to meet. So let's go and start off. Now, typically I want to see a minimum market cap size. So we'll select market cap right here to start. If we scroll down, let's go ahead and select some dividend metrics here. Maybe there's a minimum starting dividend yield that I want to see. So I'll select dividend yield. If we scroll down, I want to see a certain payout ratio. I want to know what the 5-year dividend growth rate is, and I also want to see a minimum amount of years of dividend growth, meaning management is committed to growing those dividends. So we already have a pretty good start, but there's still more with the underlying fundamentals that I want to know about a stock. So now let's scroll back down and let's talk about the potential growth of the business. Obviously, we want to buy healthy, growing businesses, and most of the time that means they're going to be growing their top lines, meaning they're going to be growing revenue. So we're going to select revenue and add this, but of course we want the bottom lines to be growing as well. So let's go ahead and select earnings per share. And we're looking at revenue and earnings per share on a forward-looking basis, meaning basically analysts, maybe management of the company, believes that both of those metrics are going to continue to grow in the future. But there's still a couple of more things that I want to add. If we come down here, let's talk about debt levels for a minute. Now, in my personal opinion, it's not always best to screen by something like total debt, because, for example, a company that has a very large market cap a lot of the times is also going to have a larger debt level than a much smaller company. So when we talk about debt levels, we want to look at things from a ratio perspective. That allows us to more easily compare stocks of different sizes. And one of the key ratios that I personally want to look at is the current ratio. This is simply total current assets divided by total current liabilities. And basically what it does is it lets you know how easily can a company meet its short-term obligations. On top of that, maybe I want to see something like the debt to equity ratio as well. So now we've got a really good screen started for us. So let's go ahead and come up here and click done. And we're not quite there yet, but we can see our search results are already starting to scroll down. But now we need to actually apply the criteria to all these different metrics that we just added. So maybe to start, we want to set a minimum market cap. So you can scroll right here and maybe we want a minimum market cap of at least, we'll say at least 5 billion in this scenario. And you can already see our investable universe is down to about 599 stocks. But we also want to see a minimum starting dividend yield. So as a dividend growth investor, maybe in that situation, you want to see a minimum yield of about 0.7%. And again, this will just be an example, but I'll go ahead and plug that in. Now we can see our investable universe down to about 529 stocks. Next up on the list, let's go ahead and adjust our payout ratio. We'll say that the maximum payout ratio we want to see is going to be about 60%. So we'll come over here and select 60 and hit enter. Now our investable universe is down to about 388 stocks. So let's go and scroll down here and add on to these last few metrics. Next up, we want dividend growth. We want at a very minimum level, dividend growth to be at least 5%. I think that'd be pretty reasonable for dividend growth investors. Then we want to see at least 5 years of dividend growth. On top of this, of course, we want revenue to be growing. We'll just do 4% as a bottom, and we'll do the same for earnings per share. Maybe we want it to grow at least at 4%. And then for the current ratio, we want to see it at least above 1. So we'll be generous and we'll go ahead and plug in 1 right here. Again, anytime you have a current ratio above 1, it means they can meet their short-term obligations. Now, when it comes to debt to equity ratio, what's good can actually depend on quite a few different factors, especially like what sector we're looking at. But in general, the S&P 500 has an average debt to equity ratio for the stocks it's holding of about 1.5 to 2. Keep in mind that as you're running these screens, if you wanted to actually remove any of these metrics, you could easily do so by clicking the red X right here. So I'll come over here and add 150 to debt to equity. And when I hit enter, if we scroll up, we can see our search results are now down to 71 stocks, just 71. I think we started at over 3,000. So if we scroll down, let's start to take a look at these stocks. And what you'll see is potentially a few familiar names, stocks that I've talked about before, but also some that you might not have heard of before. Now, for example, Broadcom, Microsoft, these are some of the largest positions in my personal portfolio. And that makes complete sense because the criteria I put above are the type of things you want to look for when looking for dividend growth stocks. If we keep scrolling down, again, you can see the full list of stocks. MRK, a stock I talked about just the other day. If we keep scrolling down, we can see stocks like T. Rowe Price. Scroll down a little bit further. We can also see Zoetis. This is another stock that I consider a pretty high quality dividend growth stock. And when we get to the bottom, again, you can see just 71 stocks meet this criteria. Now, what's really useful about all of this is you can see we can actually look at all different metrics for these different stocks. So if we want to look at these different stocks from a dividend perspective, I'll click dividends right here, and we can see ex-dividend date, the payout date. If we scroll over, we can see things like yield, forward-looking yield, the 4-year average. So you can compare the 4-year average yield compared to the yield right now. We can see the amount they're paying out in dividends, and then of course we can see things like the payout ratio, their dividend growth rates, the years they've been increasing their dividend payouts. Obviously, all very relevant metrics if you're a dividend growth investor. So really, just by taking 5 to 10 minutes to run a stock screen like this, you can really find a lot more stocks that are actually within your investable universe that you may not have known before. And obviously, this isn't the end all be all. You're going to want to do more research into each of these stocks, but this is a great place to start. Now, let's quickly do another screen. This time, let's say we want to look for high yielding stocks. So let's go ahead and remove all of our selected filters and start over. Now, again, I want to see a minimum market cap, so I'm going to select market cap. We're going to select dividends. Obviously, forward-looking dividend yield is going to be one we have, and then payout ratio is important as well. I'd also argue that consecutive years of dividend payments is going to be important. If we scroll down, let's go ahead and click on growth. I would say even though we're talking about high-yield stocks, we still want to see revenue growth moving forward. So let's keep it really simple and just look at these key metrics. So as a minimum, we already have market cap at $5 billion. Let's go ahead and bump up the dividend yield significantly. Maybe we want to see a minimum dividend yield of about 4.5%. So we'll go ahead and add that. And then on the top line, we're willing to go a little bit higher. Maybe we're willing to see about an 85% payout ratio in this example. And then we want to see at least 3 consecutive years of dividend growth. And then when it comes to revenue, maybe we're okay with a little bit slower revenue growth in this scenario, maybe about 2.5% as a minimum. So with these metrics, we can see we come up with 48 different stocks. So let's see if we see any familiar names. And Vici Properties, here's one that I own in my personal portfolio. Pfizer, not a stock I own, but again, a stock you're probably familiar with. If we keep scrolling down, we can see Energy Transfer, another pretty popular high yielder, yielding about 6.4%. we can see Ares Capital, we can see Realty Income Corporation. If we keep scrolling down, we can see T. Rowe Price. Scroll down further, we can see Franklin Resources, a Dividend King stock. And one of the things you'll notice based off this initial screen is they're actually all sorted by the quant. And you can adjust what you want to look at. So for example, if we actually wanted to sort these by starting dividend yield, I could come over here and just click on dividend yield, and immediately we can see the highest yielding stocks that still fall within the metrics that we just gave the stock screener. So before you even start building out your portfolio or even researching stocks, you have to understand what your personal goals are as an investor, because then you can understand what stocks are within what I would call the investable universe. And I'm happy that I've been using Seeking Alpha for a very long time now, many years, because it makes finding stocks within my investable universe quite easy. Again, if you're a member of Seeking Alpha, I'd suggest on March 5th, you check out their dividend investing forum that I'm going to be speaking at. And if you're not a member of Seeking Alpha, you can get a free trial at the link below. So with all that being said, thank you guys so much for watching, and please don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel.